Hey folks, Brendan here from Bluelight with another video to help guide you through the challenging process which is the police recruitment process. Now, many of my videos are often about the online assessment centre or final interviews for different forces, entry exercises, briefing exercises, role plays, and for those of you who are already in the police, how to manage police promotion boards, presentations, forward-facing questions, all of that kind of stuff. Rarely do I actually talk about British Transport Police, who have their own unique way of recruiting people. Yes, they just do an interview. So I'd like to talk to you tonight about the British Transport Police interview and how I think they might be using new questions. Or mixing some new questions with the older questions. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about the sort of questions you can prepare for. The first part of the recruitment process, the interview for British Transport Police, is a presentation. I know some of you freak out a little bit when you hear that you've got a presentation, but there's plenty of support available for you. Check the links below to all the different Facebook groups, to the courses I offer to help support you through the process. Doing a 10-minute presentation, actually the challenge is answering all the questions that they've asked you to answer. Think of it as 6 or 7 questions to answer, but you've got 10 minutes to answer all of them. That's all the presentation is. It's just a series of questions that they want you to answer. So nothing fancy, no PowerPoints, just speak from the heart. And there's certain things you can do to ensure that you ace that stage, and I've covered that elsewhere. I particularly cover it in the interview course, the Bluelight interview course. Links below, find out more about the Bluelight interview course, but very, very suitable for British Transport Police. But I'm not going to look at the presentation today. So 2 videos. The first one, I'm going to talk to you about the questions that I believe have been the favourites for British Transport Police, because after the presentation, they'll ask you questions which are very much competency based, to sort of tell me about a time when. But there's a few that I think have sneaked in, which I want you to also prepare for, and I'm going to cover those in the second video. And the second video is going to be just for my clients who are on the interview course. It's going to go in the interview course Facebook group, and it's also going to go on the actual interview course itself. So, pin your ears back, folks. These are sort of questions that I believe British Transport Police have been asking in the past and continuing to do so, but they might be interchanging them with some newer questions, as long as my sources are correct. But bear in mind, they're just sources. This is no guarantee that these are going to be the questions. What I actually recommend to people is that you prepare for about 6 or 7 things that you've done in your life, for any forces, is actually not just British Transport Police, but things where you've challenged people's inappropriate behaviour, where you've made difficult decisions, worked with others, taken responsibility for difficult tasks or problems, overcome obstacles, supported other people, learnt from your experience, times when things haven't gone to plan. Those are the sort of things that you need to have in your bank of life experiences. Because if you've got those sort of things in your life that you can talk about, and you can pretty much answer any questions that are thrown at you, you just need to adapt your answers to meet the needs of the question. Hopefully that makes sense. But I know how much so many of you like to have a good idea as to what the questions are. So here we go. So based on current information and intelligence, I believe the sort of questions that you'll get from British Transport Police are around initiative. So tell me about a time when you've used your initiative, and that might be around changing circumstances, where you've had to review what you're doing, reflect on it, and do something new. A time when you've dealt with a conflict type situation. This is not about you dealing with 2 people who are squaring up to each other outside the pub door. This is about you managing conflict in the workplace, people disagreeing with each other, people disagreeing with you. How did you find a compromise? How did you negotiate an outcome which everyone was okay with? A time when you've worked collaboratively with others to solve a problem, and also a time when you've challenged inappropriate behaviour. So, difficult time for you when you had to challenge inappropriate behaviour. Tell me about that. So there's some more questions that I think they're going to ask you, or they might be interchanging them, or it may be just that the question bank is getting longer now. I don't know. I just don't know. But in the second video, I'm going to share with you a few more questions that I think you can start preparing for. And these questions are good for any force, actually. They're fairly standard type questions. So bear in mind that forces change the style of their questions constantly. They change the style of their final interview all the time. I do this for a living, and I can hardly keep up with what different forces are doing and changing and swapping and returning to and doing something new and trying it for a month. It didn't work, go back to what we used to do. That's why I always suggest that if you prepare for everything, then no matter what they throw at you, you're going to be absolutely fine. So hopefully this has been useful for you, especially those of you who are applying for British Transport Police. If you're one of my clients, then jump on the interview course where you'll see part 2 of this video. If you're listening to this on a podcast, the same thing. I'm not doing a second podcast for the course. The course is all video. So hope you've enjoyed this. If you want to find out a little bit more about all of those different services, then check the links below. Access to Facebook groups for serving officers, for potential recruits, almost 20,000 in that group now. Can't wait until we hit 20,000. It's going to be amazing. Plenty of support, and links, of course, to all my different courses, the different webinars, and the one-to-one coaching, whether it's over Zoom or it's face-to-face. Now doing face-to-face coaching over a whole day. Really enjoying that. It's good to be back doing that. That's something I really get a lot out of. It's so good to be able to help people to succeed through some intensive all-day coaching. So folks, I shall catch up with you very soon. Bye-bye for now.